Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 29th day of the month of October 2025. It is Wednesday, the 30th week of the year. The 30th week in ordinary time. It is just 3 days until Halloween, too. And one of the things walking around Mission Hills this morning, and it's Mission Hills, more than one, not just Mission Hill, is that they really like Halloween. So I think it's kind of a neat place to kind of come to be a part of, because you just never know in California what you're going to find. Let's see, where is one of the things? Okay, so here you can see there's some skeletons on trees, on the palm trees, and things like that. There is a very frightening house over here that's just that's filled with very scary things, but all kinds of interesting decorations and things like that. So I don't want people to think that I'm being a peeping Tom or whatever it is, because you never know. Stranger in a strange land, as it is. But neighborhood is very nice. It is trash day too here, so trash cans are out and everything else like that. But if you go over here, just to give you an insight, this terrible house of clowns, very frightening house of clowns. So it's very, very, very creative. So I gotta give them all credit for that kind of things. And that gets even better as you move over to here. So this is all California, Mission Hills. Homes that are perhaps in the $1 million range or something like that, but at least they know how to have fun. So that's a good thing. Okay, so enough about the environment here in Mission Hills. But one of the things, so today the readings for the 31st, for the Wednesday the 30th week in ordinary time. Let me go over here through the trash cans and out into the street again. So school is beginning. There is a school that is up the street, a Catholic school, St. Vincent's it is. Certainly not on par with the Franciscan school, but it is there. And so the morning is beginning. And move over across the street over here. Okay. So Wednesday of the 30th week of the year, 30th week of ordinary time, we go back to Romans again. We had left Romans for the feast of Simon and Jude to go to Ephesians, which was kind of nice. But Romans is good this morning too, because basically it has that wonderful quote in it that says that all things work for good for those who believe in God. And that's an important sort of understanding that comes from being a believer in this world. Is that, again, if God is good, then in the end, things need to point to good. Things need to express some kind of good and allow us to know and recognize a good in our lives. Because, again, if it doesn't, then it really kind of is pointless for us to continue to believe. What is the impact, what is the effect of that? The good may not be as we expected. The good may not be as we intended. The good may not be as what just suits us. But there is this understanding always that God brings goodness, and we have to remember to find it. Perhaps even in the midst of that which is troublesome and awful and terrible in our lives, where is there good? Because if there isn't, then basically God doesn't exist. Because God is to be able to bring us out of that pain, out of that suffering, into knowing that there is more to us than just being people who experience trouble, experience pain, experience sadness. Because that is not good for us, and that is not what God desires. And so a sense in which how do we recognize that good for those of us who dare to believe in God? It also, in many ways, demands of God that we see a goodness in the trials and the tribulations and the ups and downs that we experience in life, that we see God at work, in the midst of this. Because if not, then God is powerless. If not, then evil wins. If not, then there's nothing but suffering and pain in this world. And that is not the case. It cannot be the case, because if there was, then we really wouldn't exist. What is the point then of existing if all of it is just for sorrow and pain? Finding out the good, realizing the good, seeking out the good, embracing the good in all that we experience in life, again, is the mark of what it means to be a believer in this world. In Luke's Gospel today, we've had this reading already in which somebody asks such a stupid question as, are only a few people going to be saved, Lord? As if it's a club, as if it is something that only that membership applies to, and then if you don't have a certain kind of membership, you're not going to get into the club. That is not how God acts. That is not what God desires. So though there are many within our church, perhaps, who want only a few to be saved, and who only want the most special, the most pious, the most holy, and the most devout to be saved, and that is not God's way. And so He gives this, ridiculous kind of answer to a ridiculous question. Again, there's a narrow gate. Many will go, many will try, few will enter. If this was what you want with God, God will be happy to provide that to you. But it will not be of God. It will be of your own smallness of mind and smallness of heart. We are not called to be small-minded and small-hearted people in this world. Those who believe in God seek out the good, and the good seeks out the welfare and benefit of all. That all come into the wonder and beauty of who and what God is, realizing it in their own lives and seeing the impact of that in the life we share with one another. A blessed day. So from Mission Hills, once again, where it's Halloween Central, may the Lord give you His peace.